I attain the heart of enlightenment. I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and the likewise, in the example of a Bodhisattvas. As previous Buddhas ambassador enlightenment and the progress on the Bodhisattva's path, I took for the benefit of all sentient beings, giving birth to bodhicitta, and apply myself to accomplish the stage of the path. And the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge and enlightenment reach by the merit of generosity and other good deeds. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Or may all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering, the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and virtue. I bow down to respectively with my body, speech, and faithful mind toward Tathagatas in the 10 directions. Those who have already reached the Tathagata state, those who are reaching it at present, and those Tathagata state to come. Through the power of Samadhabhara's prayers, may all Buddhas manifest vividly in my mind, are posted to them, multiply in my body as many times as the atoms of the earth. Each atom I visualize as many Buddhas as the atoms, surrounded by countless Bodhisattvas. Thus all space is filled with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. I praise all Buddhas through manifesting, chanting, expressing the great ocean of the excellent qualities. To all Buddhas I make offering of arrows, pure flowers, of flowing garlands of music, honoring oils, manifesting light and fragrant incense. I make offering to them of fine garments and perfume and purple, pour the highest mumeru and orange the most beautiful way. I visualize the highest and most extensive offerings and offer them with great faith to all Buddhas. I posture to the Buddhas and make offering to them following the deeds of great Bodhisattva Samadhabhara. I confess to you Buddhas whatever negative actions I have committed to do through the power of anger, desire, and ignorance. I rejoice in the merit of all the Buddhas and the 10 directions of the great Bodhisattva and the Pakika Buddha. Those who have entire Aharacha, those who have entire the path of Aharacha and all other beings. I request to all great protectors and the Buddhas to turn the highest way over Dharma as the light dispelling the darkness of beings in the 10 directions, leading them gradually to enlightened states. I supplicate those Buddhas intending passing to Parinirvana to living long for as many eons as they are atoms of the earth in order to benefit all beings. Whatever merit I have gathered through postrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying for the sake of enlightenment or sentient beings, all these are dedicated. Zaje, Beje, Zoje, Medo, Zhang, Rera, Linje, Nyede, Jinban, Sanje, Shen, La, Mede, Burwa, Yen, Roge, Namda, Yen, De, Juwa, Ju, Gozan, Yonzo, Lame, Zonam, La, Zanan, Zanzan, De, Jin, Ye, Jin, Ju, Dali, Long, Ju, Nan, Se, Yong, Ye, La, La, Min, Joge, Ngudo, Zar, De, Zo, Namendra, Benza, Manga, Zamendra, Zawarana, Zamaye, Ahon, Jam Danger, Domin, Zamlin, Yin, Dagwe, Dongson, Yong Laja, Seme, Jarwai, Dorjin, Jamban, Jedin, Gombe, Jablande, De da de samje jule me sinje lo ye do ye jin nyen ge me ba sar ne jan sem de da de do ba re sinje lo sem je nam je sam ba dang lo ye se da je da che chon de mon de ba ye che jang go lo gor de zo Kangi loji jimye jendara nyadara namda rasa waji nye dongen je jen zesa nye je doga lengwam zen kandai sebe zonra mare mendan dong are je serven doso gen la beje daras Yen lai zhu jie yang den song zhou da jie zhou nye mo nye le jie jia zhou zhong zi jie ma re men se re dong a re nyu ge jie ni Junze Raja Nando Ne Dajen Sabjen Dase Yonden Lezo Jarse Goja Traja Dan Junye Jen Dalo Mensar Jolande Om Wange Joram 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 Om Arabazana de 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 You who are the perfect beautiful body, whose flame of wisdom blazes and dispel the darkness of worldly ignorance, are posted before you in the presence to Manjushiri. Yon Egelen Jangwa Bo Yishe Dome Radambar Jeden Demo Menzawan Jambar Yangla Sanzer Do Dongge Doje Jaje Reisen Do Yinje Medo Deje Bonjamba Serje Lembo Dabre Jibege Shaje Jarbe Jala Guzanze Dorjen Janjin Telo Narod Marba Mala Jije Gampopa Pamojaba Jarwa Indigong Kaju Lama Namla Zorwande Romain Jije Yenge Bodani Tezon Sanje Genje Ngoye Ranzen Chicken Gonzon Donzebe Save Lame Jala Guzanze. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Lo Chisen, Dovara Zinje, Lo J London, Dovara Zinje, Lo Lantarwa, Isavara Zinje, Lo Antarwa, Yishe Zanchawar, Zinje, Lo. That's it. Fourth Dhamma Gampopa. Fourth Dhamma Gampopa is many Dharma practitioners chant this supplicating. So, grand blessing for mind to turn towards the Dharma. We need that. Mind, we have to turn to the Dharma. Our mind is a very strongly fixation to the worldly activity, samsara. So that's the reason grand blessing for mind turn towards for the Dharma. Then second, even we go into Dharma path, can be go to wrong path. So that's the reason grand blessing for the Dharma to go along the right path. And then going to right path, we need to know the truth, reality, absolute true reality. So that's the reason grand blessing to dispel confusion along the path. And then all the afflictive emotion transform into path is a grand blessing for the confused perception to arise as wisdom. So last one. So yesterday we shared I think first three, right? Finish first three or? I think so. Wow. Yesterday we finished first three. So now we go to in the fourth one. The fourth Dharma. Grand blessing for the confused perception to arise as wisdom. As expressed in this line above, so the pro-modern nature of mind is empty. essence of color light. And this is a Mahamura, the fourth one is. So, then we have this empty essence of color light, mind, nature. It is called Dharmakaya. Then, and the meaning of Dharmakaya is that pro-modally knowing, the union of luminosity and emptiness. That pro-modal knowing, the luminosity, emptiness, that is no other than this momentary thoughts. So here, introducing, our nature mind. Nature mind is Dharmakaya. Then Dharmakaya is always with us. That is unbeginningless time, eternal, not separate. So here is Dharmakaya is that pro-modal knowing, the union of emptiness and luminosity and emptiness. That pro-modally knowing, luminosity and emptiness, that is no other than that momentary thought. So then where is that Dharmakaya? So right now in this our momentary thought, if we know that, that is Dharmakaya. If we don't know that, then it's called thoughts and the ordinary mind. So there is no such pro-modal knowing. And such pro-modal knowing, Dharmakaya is no any other than right now our momentary thoughts. So ordinary people, momentary thoughts is create perception, karma. Practitioners, these momentary thoughts recognize its emptiness, Dharmakaya, and then liberate in that state. So, and the luminosity emptiness to be found anywhere outside or other than this momentary thoughts itself. So Dharmakaya, usually we say we are all Buddha, all sentient beings Buddha. So then where is the really pointing to we are Buddha, all sentient beings Buddha? So all sentient beings have this momentary thoughts. We always have this momentary thoughts. So long as we recognize that our own momentary thoughts, then we are become Buddha, because momentary thoughts itself is called Dharmakaya. And the Dharmakaya is no any other than that. So wisdom, or rather Dharmakaya, is no apart from this, no any other than that. That's why when we meditate, so we have to look to this our own momentary thoughts. The momentary thoughts itself is emptiness. So that is called Dharmakaya. If we don't recognize it is emptiness, then it's called thoughts. It's become called ordinary mind. So that's why here, thus itself, the clear awareness of the present moment is the true face of nature, true phenomena. Without altering this, if you know its nature, this itself is automatic truth. See, so this itself, the clear awareness of the present moment, then is the true face of relative truth phenomena. So it can be relative truth phenomena, because we have created all these perceptions, arising perceptions, and right now what we have, seeing, thoughts, or is relative truth. Then without altering this, if you know its nature, if we really know this nature, then this itself is automatic truth. So it's very beautiful in this quote. So it's come from, it's no mention here, that somewhere in Mahamura teachings. So this very clearly explain the true truth. The true truth is actually oneness. So not separate. If we follow this true phase of relative true path, phenomena is then relative truth. Is we really knowing it is nature is called absolute truth. So that's why samsara nirvana is oneness, not separate. In this, if we knowing, the people who has realized the samsara is nirvana. People who do knowing is nirvana is samsara. So they don't have two separations, samsara and nirvana. But we create separate because our ordinary perception is samsara. It's relatively true, samsara. And who has realized, then their perception is nirvana. Is samsara nirvana is oneness. Just as expressed in the above verse from the Mahayana Sutra Alankara, ornament of the Mahayana, weighing up positive or negative thoughts or emotion rise, if we do not look deeper into it, instead simply get caught up in this display. So if we don't look into our thoughts, afflictive emotions, then thoughts, afflictive emotion control us. So this accrues karma. Then the thoughts create karma, becoming cause of samsara. However, when we examine the thought or emotion, look into the essence of thought. So look very closely. Essence of thought, it is naturally ceases. Thought ceases, naturally releases itself in its own nature and never truly existed. This thought is truly not existed. Recognize this is the cause of nirvana. So that is called nirvana. That is an awakening to pro-modern knowing Dharmakaya. So Dharmakaya is we knowing the truth, nature. If thoughts, emotion rising, you look into that thoughts, afflictive emotion. That thoughts, afflictive emotion itself is emptiness. So that's called Dharmakaya. That's called nirvana. Then usually the samsaric beings, when thoughts, afflictive emotion arise, we don't investigate. We don't really look into thoughts, afflictive emotions. So thoughts, emotion control us. Then we look to the more external object. Looking to external object, create a cause karma. So then we caught up in samsara. So that's the reason in this instruction most important is we have to look to our own mind. So look to our own mind. The mind is this momentary thought. And then we have to recognize this momentary mind have to see it is emptiness, and not truly inherently exist. So then that wisdom is called pro-modal wisdom, and then that is called Dharmakaya. It's very beautiful. Then next is the nature of one's own mind is extremely difficult. So we recognize our own nature mind is not that easy. It's hard to recognize, extremely difficult to realize, and it is beyond the framework of an ordinary person's intellect of a conceptual mind. Our conceptual mind very hard to reach to the nature mind. So in the Uttara Tandara is stated, since it is so subtle, see, my nature is very subtle. It cannot be an object, object heard, and so forth. So the subtle nature mind cannot object of the eye seeing. This subtle mind nature is not object to our ear can hear, and so forth. So this is beyond our five senses. Since it is atomic truth, it cannot be taught about. So this nature is atomic truth, nature, mind, Rigpa, whatever we call, it is atomic truth. So that's why it cannot be taught about, like mind cannot, the thought can recognize. So thought is conceptual, nature is non-conceptual. Conceptual cannot reach into non-conceptual states. So that's the reason many meditators in this area is get confused, or like we kind of like create our own thoughts. Then we making ourselves a decision, like this is my nature mind. So you thoughts making your own nature decisions. So that is actually not really nature. Your thoughts can reach that state, because nature is beyond our conceptual thoughts. But ordinary people, mostly like when we meditate, we always like to make judgmental and decision. So we say, okay, this is my nature, and I meditate, I have feeling like this, I recognize like this. So that is nature. I know that is a nature. So that's kind of we making decisions, but actually you have a subject and the object, and that is not true nature mind. Cannot be nature. Nature is more beyond, much beyond that. Since it's atomic truth, it cannot be taught about. Since the Dharmata is performed, and ordinary worldly level meditation and so forth cannot objectify it. So here saying, worldly level, ordinary worldly level is conceptual mind. Conceptual mind, so meditation and so forth cannot objectify its true nature mind. True nature mind is free from conceptual level. Then since it is so incredible subtle, the mind is so incredible subtle level, you cannot hear about it as the topic of an ordinary worldly discourse. Since it is atomic truth, it is beyond being the subject of ordinary worldly contemplation. So it's not object of ordinary, is the topic of the ordinary worldly discourse, and also its atomic truth is beyond. That's the reason subject of ordinary worldly contemplation cannot reach to that. Since Dharmata is extremely profound, it cannot be object of meditation or in ordinary worldly meditation. So not object of meditation means meditation until vipassana level cannot reach into natural mind. So vipassana also, maybe you hear vipassana in the Western country, many people sharing vipassana. So some they're saying vipassana, but it is still in the mind for meditation, not according to in the text. So Buddha's teaching vipassana, they don't share that level. The core name is vipassana, but it's still in the mind for meditation level. So it's very basic level. So that meditation is still ordinary meditation, is still in the conceptual level state. And the conceptual level states meditation cannot reach into this, absolute truth and and this non-conceptual and non-duality cannot reach into that state. So since Dharmata is performed, it cannot be object of meditation on ordinary worldly meditation on this topic. Mahasiddha Telopa said, Telopa have nothing to show. So if you just see yourself, you will be free. And the true nature mind is cannot show. If long as someone can show, then that is not true nature mind. Because you showing means like it's object. Then they have a subject, someone showing. Subject and object. So subject, object, things we can share, we can show for others. But in this nature, dharmata is not one can show. That's the reason Telopa say, I have nothing to show. Nothing show is actually teachers showing nature. So that's why it's a really complicated words. When you the main point is we have to discover our own nature, and no one can show that. So if you just see yourself, see, that's why we have to see ourselves. You will be free, means like we are free from all the dualistic conceptual level. Saying this, Telopa simply whacked Naropa on the head with his show. It's correct, whacked, right? Whacked. Whacked also.
Whacked.
Simply kicked is okay, like kicked, we can say kicked. Simply kicked. Or hit.
Hit.
Huh?
Hit is good. Hit is good.
Simply hit Naropa on the head, which is a shoe. So that's a Telopa. I don't know, he has really shoes. This is true or it's not true. I really don't know. I thought it's Telopa don't have shoes. So Kimbi has something there to hit. Okay, it is not that the atomic truth is something there that he was unable to show. If something there, then Telopa unable to show, so then that means Telopa is not realize a teacher, no skillful teacher. But rather that the very nature of it is something that cannot be shown. There's nothing to show there. Telopa is a very skillful teacher. He knows. But he, in that state, cannot show. That's why Telopa really showing is through the Naropa is non-duality. So showing is like conceptually, ordinarily showing something, then that is not showing the absolute truth. So our conceptual level, we think, introduce nature mind, or that means like have to show something for us. Teachers pointing to us something, showing. But the reality, nothing showing, no seeing, then it's showing, it is seeing. It's showing something, seeing something, then that is not showing, that is not seeing. So that's why this we have to break that concept. Because it is beyond language, so it's absolute true mind nature is beyond language, beyond word. No any language to say that, no words to explain. And beyond metaphor or symbol. So what means metaphor? Also are learning English too here together.
Metaphor is two words that mean the same thing.
I see. Metaphor.
Kind of means.
Symbol. In the praise to the mother of the Buddha, the Panchaparamita, when we say, so Masam Jumi Shiraparosin is Tibetan called Nasam Jumi Shiraparosin. It means all beyond articulation. Articulation, or articulation.
Articulation, how you speak.
It's beyond articulation, beyond thought. So not really put the words to speak. And then cannot bring into your mind to, then showing the Mahamura. Beyond expression, we are not saying there is something there that can be articulated, thought of or express, and that we simply lack the ability to do so. But rather that this nature is itself beyond word, thought, and expression. So nature is beyond the thoughts, beyond expression, beyond our capacity to reach in that, the conceptually. Although such a nature is beyond the conceptual mind of ordinary worldly people like us, during the path of accumulation, we can focus on it, listening to the teachings and contemplating this absolute nature. Then during the path of approach, we envision this nature in our meditation on the essence of Dharma Dhatu. Once we achieve some degree of meditative stability, stability, after that comes the path of seeing. So in this one sharing here is a 4 path. There's accumulation path. What means accumulation path? Is you hearing the teaching about this absolute truth. You contemplating, hearing the teaching. So that is called the accumulation path. And then engaging path. So see here says contemplating this absolute nature. Then during the path of approach, so we invention during the path of approach. So sometimes we call engaging path. We envision this nature in our meditation on the essence of Dharma Dharma. So bring into something in your mind. You don't have knowing truth, but you can feel that. You can have something experience that. Because when we on the accumulation path, you listening, You contemplate, and then you come into the approaching pathway approach. So you have some connections. So you get some certainty yourself in our meditation in the essence of Dharma Dharta. Then once we achieve some degree of meditative stability, so become mind is more stability, after that come the path of seeing. Then is seeing means like you seeing that nature, and we get into that state. So in this instruction is not always a thing covered by everyone's experience. This teaching is, my understanding is really generally just Buddhist view, sharing. But individually, everyone has little slightly different experience. Then also teacher-student connections. And so in this right now, sharing is a guide, like same followed by the more Mahayana traditions. So have to go through the stages. And then Dzogchen, the Mahamura, the idea is slightly different. So, long as you have a Pita instruction receiving from Guru, and then, you meditate, you fear this, absolute truth. It's like when you meditate, you go deeper, you can have that experience. Seeing, like means, no eye seeing, but your own experience, like get some level of certainty, because you meditate, go more deeper level. In that state, you have some deep, in states, no subject, no object, no thoughts. Then your mind is be present clearly in that state. You get experience, but then thoughts arise, you lose very easily that experience. When thoughts arise, then you cannot explain about that experience. So words cannot really talk about that. When you have deep some meditation experiences, like talk about that. That's why beyond the words. And then you try to think about, okay, the experience, like intellectual level, you cannot really managing, like this, you cannot really bring into your intellectually talk about that, experience. So that's why in Dzogchen Mahamura level, this our many meditators have, long as they have these special instructions, and create some level accumulation maybe, and go more deeper level meditate, you recognize all the thoughts naturally go and dispersed, go away and dispersed, dissolved. Then your minds become very peaceful, stable. And then in that state, very clear, present, awareness is also no any fixations. So nothing to fixation, any object. That means it's emptiness. So when you fixation to the object, then everything exists. We say exist because it's our conceptual and the karmic imprints fixation create all this external object. Then it's everything's solid form, external object. So when you meditate, you go very deeper level, and you are into the states what I share. In that time, no fixation to any particular object. Even everything is there, but no mind, no picking up, no any fixation. So that is called emptiness, because emptiness means everything is there, but not truly inherently exists. It's mind, no fixation to anything. So all the object is emptiness. It's all phenomena is emptiness. Otherwise, emptiness you follow by thinking about, like same is the empty room, empty cup, empty house, right? So that kind of idea you bring into your mind, then meditate, you never ever reach to emptiness state. So also when we meditate, we don't need to think about emptiness. You try to think emptiness. I want to have realized emptiness. So then you create emptiness is become a solid form, object. Emptiness means in the Mahamura level, no any fixations. Your mind is not picking up any object. So it's pure clear awareness, and then in no fixation anything, that is emptiness. So you stay in that state, then you have extremely beautiful bliss, joy, happy, and then that bring you true happiness. And you get your own true experience. So that experience we cannot put in the words to share, talk, and cannot bring into intellectual level. So teachers also really cannot show you. When we listening teaching time, you cannot really reach into that state until you meditate yourself. So teaching helps you, guide, like same as GPS. So then you reach into your state, then GPS start telling you to go, then you cannot stay in any place. So some levels you have to free from GPS. So when you reach into that non-conceptual state, then let go all this, the intellectually sharing this idea, teachings, that concept is must let go. Okay, so that's here is the main point, very beautifully explained. Then we are not saying there is something there that can be articulated, thought of, or expressed, and that we simply lack the ability to do so. But rather that there is a nature, it itself beyond words, thoughts, and expression. Although such a nature is beyond the conceptual mind of ordinary worldly people like us. During the path so I went back to lots of accumulation, we can focus on this tending to the teaching and contemplating this absolute nature. Then during the path of approach, we invention this nature in our meditation on the essence of Dharma Dharma. Once we achieve some degree of meditative stability, after that comes the path of seeing. On the path of seeing, the first permit of the Bodhisattva, the same the glimpse into absolute true nature of Dharmata is compared in the Uttara to a newborn baby seeing the sun for the first time. So this is the followed by sutra tradition. The Uttara Tantra is this teaching is a bridge, the sutra and the Mahayana and the Vajrayana. So also kind of bridge like sutra teaching and the Mahamura teaching. Some levels this Uttara Tantra we call the Mahamura. So outer level Mahamura. Mahamura also goes to outer level, inner level, like go deep, more deeper levels. Then in this Uttara Tantra mentions is to a newborn baby seeing sun for the first time means like first Pimi Bodhisattva seeing the glimpse means true nature. They see glimpse something in the nature. But followed by the sutra tradition, you achievement in this level means very stable. Your meditation is become very high level achievement already. But in the our case means like we have lots teaching about Zoki Mahamura. In our case, you can have this glimpse something happening, but it's not stable level. So Mahamura Zoki always talk directly to in this true nature Ripa. So the student have very strong devotion, teacher has ability, share these instructions. Student also have some good connections, karmic imprint, good connections. They have this experience moment. But why not stable? Because we didn't used to habituate. And if you can get that state, but easily can lost. But in Sutra tradition, we don't follow that way. Sutra tradition is like stages, one by one. So create a very strong shamatha meditate, then go into vipassana. Then go to more deeper level vipassana. So seeing these states. Is practitioner has a stage level, follow in this, reach into this states. It's become very strong. The persons become very strong practitioner already. So I sometimes share example, and so someone going to example in this has temple here, going to build the temple, okay, and the sutra tradition is the person has everything ability, also resource everything. Then build the temple, it's stable. Okay, Mahayana, so that way is like get into level is stable, and Vajrayana, I mean the Dzogchen and the Mahammura level, someone borrow lots of money from bank, okay, just buy the temple directly, and then you both has the same temple, example, same temple, this temple, but other one is more stable because the person, the own bird, the temple, and then knows how to do, follow by all the, starting from, the engineering to all the way like started like everything, and then not going to lose that. Someone who borrow the money bank and buy the temple, okay, is don't know is stable or no. So it's dependent. That person can have but same moment, but can be lost, The exactly same is this glimpse, seeing nature is both into that state is the same, but not difference. But one is very stable, one is not stable. So that's the reason right now, in this generation time, if you follow by sutra tradition, it take really long time to get in that state. So that's the reason we take always a shortcut. Dzogchen Mahamura is called shortcut. Then luckily you can have the glimpse is seeing, through the fortunately can have that, but we have to make strong effort, not going to lose. Have to practice, have to habituate. And then one day we can get successful. So someone borrow the money, bought the, bought the temple, then they have to, person have to work very hard and to pay back to the bank, right? So then you have not going to lose your temple. So the same idea. So that's the reason always has confusions in these teachings, because different teachings like followed by different guide. Talk about this 4 part and the 10 permit levels is more sutra tradition, Mayamika tradition is more stable level to sharing these teachings. But come to Dzogchen Mahamura or another level, so the can be result is can be same, but Mahamudra Dzogchen we know is not stable because we don't have very strong foundations. So even teaching you get, you meditate, you can be have that experience, but can be easily gone that concept. I mean experience. So that's the you have to know. Then the baby at that point can only see the light and cannot recognize that he or she is seeing the sun. They don't know it's the sun, seeing something, but it's really already see the sun. Older people, we know it is the sun, we seeing the sun, but also same, baby seeing the sun, the seeing sun is the same. But in same way, illustrious beings in the beginning see a glimpse of the absolute nature, but at that point it is still unclear. If they become convinced with this nature, they have a glimpse, they can dispel obscuration and bring about all the awakening qualities without exception. So if we, then not put effort practicing, if they become convinced with this nature, they have a glimpse, they can dispel obscuration and bring about all the awakening quality without exception. They can bring that. But if it not go to other way, then not happen that. So therefore give rise to diligence when meditating, even though the absolute nature is beyond signification and beyond words, can be realized. For it is the nature of reality. So it is truly beyond the words, beyond the concepts, but if you put effort, meditate, it's possible to realize. So then this nature that can be described is always with you. Why we can realize? Because this nature is never separate with us, always with us, connected to your own mind stream. In fact, it has always already been the nature of your own mind. They always been with us. This is described nature is not worsened or degraded when you are under the control of the negative emotions. So the point is this true nature is always with us. Afflictive emotions, nature is not going to decreasing. When we have love, compassion in the mind, the nature is not going to increasing, but always the same, stay same, remain the same. That means that the Buddha's nature, our nature is in that state is always the same, not separate. The auto level, then our delusion states is big different, because Buddha's not delusions, we have delusions. In the nature states, our nature, Buddha's nature is the same, no difference. So sun is covered by clouds, or sun is free from clouds. The sun itself is the same. So our nature is the cover obstacle by our delusion, and the Buddha's nature is free from delusion, but nature itself is still same, no difference. So that's the reason all sentient beings Buddha. We call that is in the nature absolute true states, not in the relative level states. Relative level, big different. So sentient beings are deluded. Buddhas is enlightened, means free from delusions. Then there is nature that cannot be described, is always with you, connected to your own mind stream. In fact, that has always already been there, being the nature of your own mind. That is always being that, which is our own nature mind. This describable nature is not worsening or degraded when you are under the control of negative emotions. This undescribable nature is not improved or enhanced when the innate awakening quality in your mind stream are unfailing and your realization is growing. Regarding this indescribable nature and meditation. So as Saraha said, Saraha is the telepath teacher. There is not anything you are meditating on, but at the same time, there is not the slightest wavering or deviation, because there is nowhere else for mind or mind to wander. So without anything to meditate on and without the slightest wandering, letting mind rest in its natural state without modification. This nature of mind is what we call Mahamura. In this meditation, with mind being aware and not wandering, if we remain under the watchful eye of awareness without controversy, this is the whole we were awakening the wisdom of meditation. So this that section is very profound and very important. So here says, without anything to meditate on, and without the slightest wandering, and letting mind rest in its natural state without modification. This nature of mind is what we call Mahamura. So that is called Mahamura. And then in this one, we not doing that way, when we meditate, so we always create like conceptual thoughts. It's most important is letting mind rest in its natural state without modification. So we always create a modification, I think. And so without modification, this nature of mind is that we call Mahamura. And then mind being aware and not wandering. If we remain under the watchful eye of awareness without contrivance, this is the how we awaken the wisdom of meditation. Then as explained above, the Dharmakaya has always been innately present as our own mind. So Dharmakaya is always being with us. Do not recognize this. We know, knowing that we are under the power of negative emotions, as expressed in Sutra. Sutra says all sentient beings are actually Buddha. So all sentient beings is a Buddha, but they are temporarily obscured by advantageous defilement. We have this, temporary obscuration. So due to that, then we are under samsara. The advantageous obscuration described, they are divided into two categories. As explained in the treatise, Madhetawa, I think, distinguishing the middle from the extremes. So these are shown to be the absorption of the negative emotion and the subtle absorption through omniscience. This we always talk about obscuration. So this obscuration, bring into two categories. These two categories. The first one is the core. They are the shown to be obscuration of the negative emotions. So first is the core obscuration, negative afflictive emotion obscuration. This negative afflictive obscuration, afflictive emotion. So if we purify that, then we don't have to take birth into samsara. But still not, fully realized. I mean, waking the Buddha. So that's the reason, and the subtle obscuration to omniscience. So that's we have to purify it. And this too is like very big topic when we share the Sutra Mahamura teachings. So then, of course, the Tibetan, like this scholars has a lot of debating between these two, and also India, that time many, the master, these scholars have lots of debating about these two. And then this two is like where this become finished, like first the dividing these two as a lots of differentiations. And secondly, where these first obscurations finish, which level the practitioners. So the last one is of course the same, like have to achieve enlightenment. Then the first one, this obscuration of the negative emotions. So in the many scholars say this is the end of already in the first Pemi level bodhisattvas. But some scholars say this goes until in the seven Pemi bodhisattva. So seven Pemi bodhisattva then is up 100% this obscuration of the negative emotions free. So this has like lots of debating and also disagreed where they're going to finish this like negative afflictive emotion. Negative afflictive emotion, they of course have a gross level. It's causes of samsara. Then that I think end of before in the seeing Pemi Bodhisattva. Seeing Pemi Bodhisattva, they don't have to take birth through the karma. So they're free from that taking birth through the karma. So that's mass free from this obscuration of the negative emotion. It is like part of the taking the birth. But then still they have like some karmic imprints. Could be obscuration of the negative emotion, karmic imprints. That goes maybe under the seventh Pemi Bodhisattva. So under seventh Pemi Bodhisattva, I think the 100% free from all this negative emotion, obscuration is even like, very subtle karmic imprints. Then another here is like subtle obscuration of omniscience. So when this omniscience, obscuration to the omniscient wisdom. So that is also first Pemi Bodhisattva actually focus, release this, the subtle obscuration of omniscience. And then this also many these scholars are debating. So this obscuration to the omniscient wisdom. That obstacle is, this the Bodhisattva has a different level. Like first one is we call the accumulation path. The accumulation path practitioner also called Bodhisattvas. And then engaging path, that practitioner also called Bodhisattva. Then seeing path, of course, that is absolute truth Bodhisattva. So that's always Bodhisattva. Then seeing the path to all the way up to 10th level Primi Bodhisattva. So that's also Bodhisattvas. So this subtle obscuration to omniscience, the accumulation path, Bodhisattvas purifying that obscuration, that is debating. Some scholars say yes, they also, the accumulation path, Bodhisattvas facing to, purification, both these two obscurations, purifying. Some says like this subtle obscuration to omniscience is only starting from first Pimi Bodhisattva, purifying. So they have lots of debating, but we are not going to talk about this, philosophy. And that's not really big deal for us. That is a very big deal important for the scholars, because the scholars like to debating, like to make decision, Then they like to have some like instructions very clearly where they, they follow. So our case doesn't matter where they come from, I think. So just we have to practice and have to release it. That is our job. So then when I create this commentary, of course, we have to follow this, like also this intellectual part, not only just, meditation sections, like have to follow by this different, this four Dharma Gampopa is a different level, very important instruction we have to create here. So this also in big topic in this, the last section of four Dharma Gampopa. Then why you may ask are the obscuration classes into two definitive categories. Why we create these two? The highest goal to be attained by a person or individual is twofold. So we have two goals. Like one is liberation, one is like supreme liberation, enlightenment. We have two achievement goals. So that's the reason this, first one is obscuration of the negative emotion is obstacle to the liberation. And then second is the subtle obscuration to omniscient wisdom's obstacle to the enlightenment. That's why this two, we talk about two obscurations. Actually, of course, one obstacle. Then attainment of supreme liberation from samsara and the attainment of omniscient Buddhahood. Out of these two attainments, see, they have two attainments. That is it that obstruct our attainment of liberation from samsara. It is the negative emotion born from the grasping it, and mind, that obstruct us from liberation. So negative afflictive emotion is rising from the I and the, self, my and I, from the grasping at I and mind, that obscure us from liberation. So that is obscuration to the liberation. Long as we have I and the self, we cannot liberation from samsara. Samsara cause is I and the self. So we have to release I and the self. Then we can reach into the liberation. So first state is Shavaka or Pakika Buddhas, Arhats level. Then we don't have to take birth to samsara again because no cause to come back to again. We take birth to samsara. Reason is this first obscuration of negative emotions. So it is that ignorance of not actualizing the nature of a phenomena. These two obscurations lead to the grasping at the self-nature of the person and grasping at inherent nature of external phenomena. Under this grasping at the rareness of self and the rareness of phenomena is released. The two obscurations are there. In the Madhyamaka Rena Avali, I think, middle way treats Mala of Jiva, it is explained. Dimi kaza dada chichi da yinu danze mamu barda dunyi yu bar wamari chintin wale. There's I have to drink the tea, so otherwise it's very hard to explain this teaching. Not that easy here. I think you recognize that. Do you think it's very hard here? Very easy or easy? I think it's very hard, this section. Okay, so now in this court is so big topic for Buddhist like philosophies is Mahayana teachers. This quote is come from Nagarjuna. The Nagarjuna disciples debating all the time for this again, lots. So then it's in coming to Tibet. This one Tsongkhapa and Mapam Rinpoche is a Nyingma tradition, and also Longchen Ranjang. And Satya tradition, Pentata, Satya Pentata, and Gorampa is very famous in Satya tradition philosopher. So they are Karmapa also at Karmapa, they're debating laws in this court. They explain totally different ways, each one's. So they create like 100 pages for only this debating. So the scholars has a lot of time. The whole life is, thinking of these things and like debating, writing. So each scholars write like many volumes. Some scholars, as I heard, like 60, 70 volumes, and they're writing, making commentaries all the time. So that tradition is still very strong in Tibet. We go to Sheda, and then the teachers, Khenpo share the teachings. Then talk about these verses. These verses, I think this one verses takes a really long time to finish, because sharing like talk about different these teachers, philosophers, their ideas, and then there also the teacher compose also their own opinion and followed by which pick up their the scholar. So they put the reasons this scholar is a truth. So then of course it's followed by their own traditions. Some Karma Kaju tradition say Karmapa explain that is truth. The reason is Nagarjuna said that, Buddha Shakyamuni said that, so all the followed by, then go back to all these masters. And then of course like traditions like this Khenpo sharing the teachings, so they also believe such a scholars saying is truth. Then they go back to all these many different sutras, like they're going to find all the Buddha's teaching, Nagarjuna's teaching, Chanda Kirti, and Shanti Deva. So all these teachers' teachings, the use of that is the main background. I mean the important. So right now we're going to look to in these verses what it says. As long as there is cling to a body, there is a self-clinging. If there is a self-clinging, then there is a karma. And from karma comes rebirth. So it's very beautiful, Nagarjuna, what he said. Yeah. So long as we have a clinging to body, like I and self, our body, then there is self-clinging. So there is a self-clinging, then it's create a karma. So due to the karma, then take birth. Very simple, but scholars make very complicated. Okay. So as long as there is a clinging to a body, so then their body means, of course, body, then we have a gross level body. Okay. Then you go to think about subtle level bodies. So some says gross level body. Don't need to think about this like body, like like we talk about I is five aggregates. Don't need to create a separate five aggregates. Just this body has already five aggregates. Long as we have all this together, say I and self, and then clinging to our own body, and then due to that, and then create a karma, and then take birth. So some scholars says clinging to a body is not only like that way. It's clinging bodies, then go to more like subtle body. So if clinging to subtle level body, then you create a karma and taking birth into samsara. So in that case, then you cannot free from samsara until actually 7 pimi bodhisattva levels. Subtle body clinging to attach. So this has lots of debatings, like they talk about the five aggregates. And, the body means like recognizing this body, clinging to a body, like body is recognizing. That recognition is big difference is each one's. So the our leg is, of course, very easy, simple way is like Mahamura, he explained, as long as there is clinging to a body, is he just mentioned, is clinging bodies, we don't need to use logic investigate. And just ordinary people think, my body. They don't think about, that my body means is five aggregates, like which one? Investigate anything like subtle body or gross level body. Just like delusion, this like whole body and compound of phenomena and the five aggregates all together, then we say this is my body. So long as we have clinging to our own this whole body together, and then there's a self-clinging, so-called self-clinging. And then that due to that, then if there is a self-clinging, then say I, my, this is like my body. And like we have that self-clinging. So long as we have self-clinging to our own body, and then we have, so that is called self-clinging is Kanzagada is self to ourself, self. It's like locked to our whole body, is self-clinging. Then go into clinging to my home, my car, my family, right? And my all these my things. Then self-clinging to phenomena. So then, attached to our own side. And then anger or aversion to other. So due to that, create a karma. So that's the Mahamura, he explained. So we follow that. It's very simple. The Tsongkhapa explain is really complicated here. Not easy. So I also don't remember very clearly everything. when we was in the Sheda, this topic is really big, and the Kempos talk like hours, sometimes like very, very boring. But they are not boring, the long as their notes, very exciting, because their notes each these philosophers explain how to explain. They are very interesting. So they have a good enthusiasm to explain, but if we don't know all these details, we get easily confused. It's a very boring topic too. Very interesting, very boring either way, depending person. So that's the main point that we say why we take birth in samsara, why we are staying in samsara, because we are in samsara. Reason is, as long as there is clinging to body, then we have this self-clinging, and that the self-clinging, then there is karma. So means self-clinging create karma is called this. We mentioned here is obscuration of the negative afflictive emotion. The obscurations of the negative emotion source is this self-clinging. And long as we have self-clinging, our own, then we have obscuration of the negative afflictive emotions. So that create karma and take birth to in samsara. So that's the reason, we have to meditate the selflessness of person. We look to ourselves, investigate where is I and the self. So crawl to our feet between, you investigate. You really cannot find I and the self exist. Self-clinging is not exist. Truly, inherently exist, not exist. If you fear that, you can release many negative afflictive emotions and our own, clinging something, create problems. So fixation, we can let go, release. So that's why this meditation selflessness person is very powerful. When we have some, strong fears and problem, suffering, and that time you look to yourself, investigate. You cannot find you and yourself there, and then you really see yourself is a delusion and kind of like delusion form, and you cannot find I and the self. So you be in that state, then you fear cannot be stay there because you destroy the base that cannot put in top there, because like you destroy yourself clinging, then cannot have self fears in there. Fear cannot be there. So then of course like we holding something also, we can release all the suffering problems. So you can feel everything's delusion. Is all the fears naturally go away, release. It's very beautiful actually meditation. This selflessness of personal meditation is also important meditation, because we have this self-clinging to our body. So we have self-clinging to our own body, and then that bring all the afflictive emotions, then bring the fears and sadness, negative feelings arise. So you meditate, you see yourself is emptiness, then you feel everything is a delusion. So your mind is no fixation to anything. It's your mind's become freedom. So that's we have to meditate. When you have fears, problems, emotions rising, and then have to look to our own ourself. Sometimes you you look that way, it's like really funny. Who I am, you don't recognize who you are, because no exists there. And you cannot find anything like yourself. That is actually really good. You don't need to feel bad. That is perfect. Then that moment you log to your fears. Fear is no exist. Fear is gone. So log to yourself, your problems, everything you fear is a delusion. Then minds get freedom. So that's a meditation practice is very powerful here. This using this idea. Okay, so then here you want to know whether the self-grasping can be released or not. You can find that answer through many scripture verification and through reasoning, as expressed in the text of Mayamika and Paramana. The teaching revealed the antidotes to help us actualize by showing how to meditate and cultivate loving kindness and so forth. So then kindness and so forth. That's whereas the antidote to completely uproot self-grasping through the wisdom that really realize selflessness. So we knowing, like taking birth in samsara is due to self-grasping, self-clinging to ourselves. So then you use selflessness of person, selflessness phenomena meditation. So all the self-clinging is, destroyed rudely and realize emptiness. So that is the most powerful the antidote for the self-clinging meditation. Then also you can apply love meditation, compassion meditation. So love meditation helps, of course, love meditation is clinging, self-clinging is contradict each other. So they cannot be in the moment together because love means open, kind heart. Self-clinging means like thinking about own benefits, no others. So these two minds cannot go together. So that's why love meditation, compassion meditation also antidote to self-clinging, but that is called indirectly antidote. And selflessness person and selflessness phenomena meditation is directly antidote to self-clinging. So that meditation is uproot of self-grasping through the wisdom that realizes selflessness. According to Buddha's scripture, the difference between the three vehicles or yanas relates to the different approach, the purifying these two obscurations. So then this in the teaching there, three yana all has different ways to, purification. So you know this is a really good instruction. The Shavakas and the Pakika Buddhas of the individual liberation path, called their liberation is called individual liberation path. They meditate solely on the selflessness of an individual person as an antidote to the obscuration of negative emotions, through which all the negative emotions are exhausted. So the self-liberation means like, I don't want to take birth in samsara. So then that reason you know what is the causes of samsara. So they try to get rid of the causes of samsara. Only focus for that. And that's the reason they meditate this selflessness of person, because the taking birth in samsara is called self-clinging. So antidote is selflessness of personal meditation. Then we have selflessness we have self-clinging to our self-body. That is a causes of afflictive emotions. So that's the reason, afflictive emotion take birth. So that's the reason this Shavaka, Pakika Buddha's focus removed afflictive emotion, causes of samsara. And that's why they meditate, focus is selflessness of person. Which the negative emotions are exhausted. Then negative emotions are exhausted, and it's become impossible for them ever to fall back into samsara. That negative emotions destroy, they don't have to come back to in samsara. However, since they have not perfected the meditation on the selflessness of phenomena, they don't have realize all the phenomena as emptiness. They did not become free of the subtle obscuration to omniscience. You see, they have still omniscient obscurations, omniscient wisdom obscurations. So the illusory ones of the Mahayana path, beginning from the path of seeing, the first bodhisattva or stage, gradually purify both of the two obscurations, and these are purified simultaneously. So there, have a debating. First, Pimi Bodhisattva, in this way, first Pimi Bodhisattva still have emotions, like subtle level emotions. So, followed by this is a teaching is more followed by the Mahamura Rinpoche's instruction. So, I have a lot of teaching from the Mahamura Rinpoche. So for me, it make more sense to follow that one. So that's why here, see, Pakika Buddha, Arhats, already free from these afflictive emotions. Then first Pimi Bodhisattva still have this subtle level afflictive emotions. So then we think, okay, the Pakika Buddha, Arhats are more realized than first Pimi Bodhisattvas. Because Pakika Buddha are free from this afflictive emotion, obscuration, afflictive emotion, free from that already. First, Pimi Bodhisattva has still this, subtle level obscuration, like afflictive emotion, karmic imprints they has, until all the way to 7 Pimi Bodhisattva level. But the difference is, the Pakika Buddha and Arhats only focus, try to, the focus, extremely focused, try to put effort to remove the negative afflictive emotions. So they already removed, they don't have to take birth. But first Pimi Bodhisattva not only focus that, first Pimi Bodhisattva also create lots of bodhicitta. And same time, they also focus for, this subtle level obscuration. Also, purify, subtle level, this omniscient obscuration to the omniscient wisdom, also purify. So their activities are more bigger ideas. That's why another level Arhats, of course, kind of like go more fast in first Pimi Bodhisattvas. They're free from this 100% negative afflictive emotions. But Bodhisattva, first Pimi Bodhisattvas are not important for them to release all the first negative afflictive emotions. They're free already, like take birth to samsara negative afflictive emotions, but they have still karmic imprint negative afflictive emotions. That's no problem for them, Bodhisattvas. They don't focus, try to get out negative afflictive emotions. Their try to goal is reach to enlightenment, not only just free from samsara, liberate. So there has many reasons. And then they're doing walking is more bigger view, And they're also, meditating not only selflessness of person, their meditating practice is a selflessness of phenomena. So that drawing focus, the selflessness of a phenomena, then not only focus for the selflessness of personal meditation, the bodhisattvas. So that's why another level ahats is more go fast than first maybe bodhisattvas, but big difference still. So there's lots of beautiful examples in the Chandrakirti he shared with the middle way path. What he says is the first Pimi Bodhisattva is the same as the prince's, king's son, prince's. King's son is called prince's, right? Okay, then the king's son is knowledge. I mean, the like experience is not same as the ministers. Minister has more experience, but king's son is like mine is lineage is a king's son, so he can go more over than ministers, because when he get develop the his knowledge is more better than become go to more bigger, better than more power than ministers. So bodhisattvas, the first Pimi Bodhisattva realization is the same as the king's son, princess, and Arhat is the same as the ministers. Ministers have achieved some levels, but they cannot go capacity more power and knowledge is the same as the king. so then the king's son, princess, grow up and get more knowledge, can be becomes a king, and then can hold the kingdom. So Bodhisattva, first Pimi Bodhisattva is starting from very big vision or bigger, idea or big benefit for others. That's why, even the born to the king's son is already beyond the ministers, because due to the family's family's gene or family's family lineage, I think family's lineage. So already more beyond in ministers. So that's he use examples. But if we don't go details or the teachings, you don't get ideas. And so this section is not that easy level. It's a very, very complicated area. But main point is we have these two obscurations. So we have to know where these two obscurations are coming. One is self-clinging to our own, that is called negative afflictive emotion source, cause. One is we're clinging to all the phenomena. So then that source says, that created this obscuration to the omniscient wisdom. So these two obscurations, source is, one is clinging to the self-clinging our own body, one is clinging to the phenomena. So then that to create two obscurations. So two obscurations, obscuration to the self-liberation, and first one. Second one is obscuration to the omniscient wisdom, Buddhahood. So then that's the reason we have to meditate the selflessness of person and the selflessness of phenomena. So long as you have selflessness of person, realize we are free from samsara. Long as we have selflessness phenomena meditation, realize, then we reach the omniscient wisdom, Buddhahood. Okay, so that's the main point idea. Then this goes like more explain about this or details. So enter to enlightenment. It's lots of information. So I think time is finished, right?
About 20 more minutes. But are you going to do the Wangdu prayer?
Wangdu prayer I'm going to do, yes, it's a transformation. No, teaching is already finished yesterday.
Okay, thank you.
That is the hardest teaching I have. So then okay, so there we have a very short time, and I'm going to skip some couple pages. So go to the this. If you have a book, is go to page 65. Is the play in sutra. The name is in the Lolitava Sutra. Lalitava Sutra. Sutra, the play in four. It reads. So that's that. From we're going to share this. Going to end of the teaching. Here see when you are able to have the forbearance to hinder the knowledge that there is neither birth nor death. That there is neither birth nor death. At that time, Tipankara will profess your enlightenment. So this sutra mentioned the eight bodhisattvas get prophecy from the Buddhas. They say you are going to reach enlightenment moment very soon because you have these realizations. You know, in what in Sutra says, this the eighth bodhisattva has this realization. When you are able to have the forbearance to hinder the knowledge that there is neither birth nor death. At that time, at Dipankara, where professors your enlightenment, so there very subtle level obscuration is released in that state. It's also like conceptual, and their seeing is like free from birth and death. No fears that. You know, people sometimes, like we say, everything's emptiness, have very strong fears. And the Shavaka, Pachika Buddha also has a very strong fears. They say no birth, no death. And the fears because there no realized emptiness. So the main point here, and when you reach into this Pami Bodhisattva, fully realize emptiness. So that's why no fears, emptiness, no fears. I think you know Heart Sutra when Buddha Shakyamuni shared the teaching is called. Sometimes people make jokes as a heartbroken sutra, so they can say heartbreak, you know, something like that, right? And many people cannot handle that teaching. Many beginners cannot handle. So that's why this in this level, Buddhist can handle anything. This non-duality teachings, whatever the shares, like I think you all are Buddhist already, so you no fears, whatever we share. Okay, so could be, we don't know. Sometimes when we meditate, we can go deeper into that state too. Here, the word forbearance refer to the ability to forbear or hinder the truth that the phenomena are born. This occurs on the eighth Bodhisattva permit. The third stage of realization, the realization of selflessness of phenomena, there has fully selflessness of phenomena realization. That is free from dualistic conception. It's only realized when one becomes a Buddha, because we have equal all kinds of erroneous and perverted habitual imprints in our minds. So we create this all karmic imprint laws this in the mind. Condition existing arises unceasingly in all sorts of dream-like appearances. So that's why we go into samsara. Or this is made only of the stuff of mind, so all created by our own mind and nothing other. Therefore, as long as mind is under the power of attachment and other negative emotions, we will automatically enter and get caught up in the play of samsara, the three realms. And even the hands of the Tathagata Buddha cannot make it stop. So Buddha cannot help, due to our negative karma afflictive emotions. Only when we become free of obscuration and gain control over our own mind, where we fully gain control over all phenomena. So long as we control our own mind, we can control all the phenomena. So that's why Shantideva said, put shoes in the feet. So long as you have shoes in your feet, you can go walk everywhere, no problem. You can handle wherever you go. So it is not like we are feeling a bad place and running off somewhere else to a better place without having to rely on anything outside of mind. If we simply recognize this nature of mind, the Mahamura, this is how we become free of obscuration and attain liberation and omniscient state of Buddhahood. Not realizing the true nature of mind and falling under the power of attachment and the other negative emotion is how we become confused and wandering in samsara. So whether we become confused or liberated is rooted in whether or not we realize the true nature of our own mind. To sight drop by Saraha, Toha by Saraha. So then Saraha said this, teaching. He says, emanating samsara and nirvana, bestowing the fruit of our desire, this wish fulfilling jiva like mind are posited. So Saraha says, our mind is the same as wish fulfilling jiva, because mind created samsara, mind created in nirvana. Is mind projected everything. So that's why you control our own mind, we create nirvana. If we cannot control our own mind, controlled by afflictive emotion, then create samsara. So the negative thoughts does not need to be rejected or read from your mind. Negative, so we don't have to get rid of it. You need not try to find some wisdom to contract the negative thoughts. We don't have to find any contract negative thoughts. Whatever is holding you down, if you realize this extraordinary path in which simply recognize whatever arises enables it to naturally release on its own. So thoughts, afflictive emotion, whatever rise, we have to release it itself. Then you will become a Buddha in one lifetime. So we have become one lifetime Buddha. That's very important, right? So we wanted that. So then we live there. We one lifetime to become Buddha, Tashidele. And I'll go to get this one this on the in the transmission. Now say one the debes on the timon yo so. Ahong de jin barwa wanga bobrand de don do be yi ge ma ja de den be maran yin le dor jin jin ma na wa jin be ji ge na wa da ye dor ji 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 di wa zo du ji ji ja zo be ma ja bon kon de nga wan jo re na ze no wan je re na wa yi xin be da wa ra he den jon do ba jar bo de jin de ma le ji ge yin do ri ze ma yin jon de sa jo wa zo de do am de dor je ba wan da ge zo na no nyam ba ji be nga ni de dor je gar je Dorjikaya Gardia Song Yong Gami Song Jeden Kansongo was on Robon Honde Yon Laja, the Yanda Yojen Dever, Dorja Java Jembe Dojen, Naming, the Gunjo Sorjan, Dorja Java Jimboya, Nazi Deva Jimbo Dozi, Ayajin Rogarjin, the Jugong Sewa Jobe, Ranja Wangalazo, Kipeso Wanda Zozin Jello, John Tengadron the Gabar and Dada Tomi Wanda Ziben Drop. Chibarati Sayadawa Dimpati Chela, the main paper was over the Kansas around the Wangalega Jeta Samajin to Pardumazo, Tamala to the Sawa Melon, Kolo, Sage and Ro, Mangala. Thank you. We finish the transmission. Very short, easy. Dorje Jang, Telopa, Naropa, Marpa, Malarepa, Dharma, Lord Gampopa, Pamo Trupa, Lord Gompa, please be stopping us most auspicious bless our Kaju Lamas, but this virtue may achieve amnations by defeating our enemies, confusion may or who travels on the waves of bird order, is a dead across the ocean was samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent, precious mind, where it is humble, may they rise, where it is a bomb is no decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray the Lama may have a good health. I pray the Lama may have a long life. I pray that your Dharma activities suffer far and wide. I pray that I may not be separate from you. As majorly the Vero realized all Rome state and as did Samantha, but I will follow in the path and fully dedicate all the merit for sentient beings. By the bliss of Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the bliss of true unchanging Dharma as such, by the bliss of indivisible Sangha order, may the Mirasha bear fruit. By the virtue collected 3 times by my 7 or beings in samsara and nirvana, and by in the rule of virtue, may I cook sentient beings, calculating surpass perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teaching of Guru Gompa and Ashira who submission Lord of Dharma, master of interdependence, continue increase through study, practice, contemplation, meditation, until end of the samsara. Om Mane Beme Om Mane Beme Om Om Mane Beme 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 Om Ru. Thank you everyone. Tashidele. So we finish teaching today. See you next week and see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Kempo.
Thank you, Gampopa.
Thank you,
Gampopa.
Thank you, Gampopa.
Thank you.
感恩仁波切，感恩义师师兄。
Thank you.
感恩仁波切。
感恩仁波切。
Thank
Many
you.
blessings, many blessings.
感恩翻译师兄，感恩仁波切，
感恩翻译师兄。
得乐，大喜得乐，仁波切，感恩切，
Thank you.
感恩
Thank you,
切，仁波
Rinpoche.
切，大喜得乐。
Thank you everybody. Have a